Welcome back to the channel, everybody. On today's episode, we are going to be installing large format ceramic tile behind the wood stove, both as a combustion barrier and just to make it look nice. I've never installed ceramic tile before, so this should be interesting. So come along and learn from all of my trouble and mistakes so that you don't have to. About 2 nights ago, we had some major storms come through. So let's take a look at the damage. That's going to be a problem. Well, I'm pretty lucky. For all of the storms that came through here, all I have is a couple of downed trees in the driveway. I'm counting my blessings. Well, let's make quick work of these trees. Although, I have a project I want to do this week where I needed some timbers. So I think I'm going to try to salvage as much of these as I can. Might be able to use them to my advantage since they're already down. I'll try to pick a path through here. I guess it's right through the sticks is where we're headed. Ugh. That should get me into the cabin for now. I'm going to come back and get everything cleaned up once I get settled in. All right, well, let's grab the keys and let that river dog run wild. What do you think there, river dog? Oh, relax, y'all. It's ginger ale. Sound of the loons. One of the most iconic, beautiful summer sounds. But I will catch you guys in the morning. This whole week is supposed to be relatively cool at the cabin. So say hello to your buddy. Come on out there, river dog. Or stay, whatever you want. So to make my life easy, I'm using Ready Mix Thin Set for just this small job. I didn't see any need to buy a huge bag and mix it up myself. And this way, I know that the ratios are perfect for the mixing. But the one thing I was told was if you're using this, that you should wet down the rock board first, because otherwise the rock board will just suck the moisture from the thin set into the rock board, and it won't cure as well behind the tile. So that is the plan, and we're ready to lay tile number 1. I have never done this before, so this should be very entertaining. This isn't quite as easy as I thought it was going to be. I think I'm going to turn the camera off and catch up with you guys in a little bit. This isn't as fun as I was thinking it was going to be. I don't know why I thought it was going to be fun, but I thought, oh, this is a job that I could do. Never done this before. I don't know what to expect. Can't hardly see the line. Sun is in my eyes. We need a battery. We don't have a battery. I messed up my knee a couple weeks ago doing the floor, and then I was running on it, and that messed it up even more. So it's really aggravated already, and I haven't even started this project. I messed up the corner. Doggone it. Doggone it, I was afraid of that. It's going so well until that point. Okay. Alright. We might be onto something. Oh, that looks pretty good. That'll be in the corner anyway, but yes, this might actually work. Sweet! The one thing I've learned already is that I should have had like a wax pencil for marking my lines, because as soon as I wet down the tile, it wants to just wash away that graphite from the pencil. It's really hard to see the lines once you start cutting. So a wax pencil would have been a key component. A respirator would have been good, but the water is supposed to keep the... It looks a little crooked. Hope we can hide that. You know, I watched a lot of YouTube videos on tiling, and it looked kind of fun. And I thought, you know, this might be something that I really enjoy and could maybe get good at. Well, I think we've solved the maybe enjoy part, because, oh no. No! Why is that not? What the heck? No! No! Are you kidding me? My trim board sticks out too far underneath. Well, we could do that. We could do that and splice things in, because I can't cut this board when it's full of sticky stuff. So clearly I'm not going to be able to finish this tonight. Number one, I need more thin set. And number two, I kind of need to take a break just to kind of clean the floor up, because it's getting really bad. And I should have put a tarp down. I should have done this before I did the floor. I didn't. So what are you going to do? I mean, it is what it is at this point. It is what it is at this point. They always make things look so easy on YouTube, you know? Oh, do your own tiling. It'll be fun, they said. This is probably as painful for you to watch as it is for me to do. Okay, I'm gonna turn the camera off because this is ridiculous. All right, so it fit just fine. I just needed to remove the trim. It must have been getting hung up on something, so. Well, that's all we got done today. But it's a learning, it definitely is a learning process, and it's kind of tedious until you really get a system down, and I don't have a system down yet. But we're going to need more thin set anyway, so hopefully we'll get this knocked out pretty quick in the morning. It's time for us to go in and get some supper. And those squirrels are going crazy. Squirrels are all over in the yard. River's been chasing them. You better settle down. We're going to go in, cook some supper, and then we're going to burn some more brush tonight. So we will catch you guys in the morning. All right. Okay, I've got my lines drawn now, for the most part. All right, what do we got for cut? Where's the measuring stick? Okay, let's do it. Last one. Ooh, that rain is cold. Rain is cold. Where'd you put the pencil? Where'd you put the pencil, eh? Oh, come on, seriously? Come on. It was in my back pocket. Let's cut this and be done. I don't think it was supposed to rain today. But the river's loving the cool weather. Hide it with grout. That's what we're going to do. We're going to hide it with grout. All right, let's get these tools inside. I suppose you want to come in too. You're such a patsy. We're going to call that a wrap. Well, good morning, everybody. Yesterday I finished up with laying the tile, and today I'm going to grout it and finish it up. I'm going to be honest and tell you that I made some major errors. Probably not something that you can see in the camera, but if you were here up close, you would definitely see them. So I might show you later, but for right now, just trust me and say that if this was, just trust me when I say, if I was getting paid to do this, I probably would not have gotten a check. But considering it is in a off-grid bunkhouse cabin, I think it will pass, and hopefully the wood stove will cover up your eyes from focusing on the errors. Let's get started. Today I'm using pre-mixed grout, so I'm hoping this goes easy. I've never done this before, so honestly, I'm pretty nervous. I've just heard lots of horror stories about the grout drying on your tile and not being able to get it off, and that this pre-mix dries very, very fast. So my plan is just to do a little section at a time and wipe as I go. Hopefully it turns out okay. Gosh, I am so nervous to start this. You know, one of my thoughts was, it's such a small space. Could you just like take your finger and like rub it in the hole? No, not really. Okay, well that solves that question. Here we go. Oh, wish me luck. not supposed to be blue, is it? Why is it blue? It looks blue. Oh, I feel like I'm not getting anywhere. If I wipe, then I just mess up the grout. Do I let it dry longer? Gosh, I'm so nervous about it drying with a haze, though. And there's the finished product. Most of my errors were covered by the grout. There's a few of them that I noticed, but most people probably wouldn't. The one mistake that I did make was there are parts where the grout didn't fully cover the thin set. You can see like the white lines. Like there's an example right there. There's a little corner piece right there. So I have two options. I can either come back with my finger and just put a little bit of black grout in there, and that should cover it. Or I can probably take like a black marker and mark the edge of the tile and hide those white spots. Or I even thought about the gray graphite on a pencil. Once the grout is completely hard, I can just come in and pencil those little white marks, and we should be fine. If you notice the little lip above, that is intentional, and it looks like it's crooked because the tongue and groove is a little bit unlevel. The tile is completely plumb. So my plan is to put, well, the trim board here, obviously, and then I want to put some sort of like shelf, kind of like a quasi mantle, and then you could set some stuff there and then maybe hang like some wet gloves or something by the wood stove. And on this edge, same type of thing, I think, or I may just trim it out. But I left this for now because I do need to do the trim for the door and still hang that barn door. So a couple of things that I did learn in this process was the directions say that you can shape the grout right after you install it, which means basically just kind of take a sponge and go over it so it seats into the groove. I misunderstood that as I could wipe away all the haze. The problem with that was the grout was so wet, and when I introduced a wet sponge, it just made everything run. And so the key is definitely, once you kind of set your grout lines, to let that haze dry for several hours and then come back and wipe it clean. It actually worked out pretty easy with me doing it too early though, because I could just take I actually took a towel and I stayed away from the actual lines, but I just wiped the majority of the tile and cleaned it all up in seconds instead of having to scrub off the dry stuff. So in a way, it kind of worked pretty well. So that was my first tile job. Now that it's done, it was kind of fun, but I wasn't prepared for how messy the thin set and the grout was going to be dropping off of the trowel. And that was not fun because I was so worried about it staining the floor that I just put in. If I would have been more prepared and did this before I put the floor in, it probably would have been a somewhat enjoyable process. And using the ceramic tile blade for the skill saw worked perfectly. I had no issues whatsoever with cutting the tiles. The only thing I had to watch for was at the very end, if I didn't support the tile, it could break unevenly. So I'd have to come back and trim it up. But anyway, I'm happy with it for my first job. Definitely not perfect, but for the most part, I think it's all right. So I give my first ceramic tile job a thumbs up. And with that, we're going to call this video a wrap and move on to the next project. And we will see you guys soon.